Howdy doody! My name is Sith Holocron, and I'm from the Dongers of Runeterra. And this is a Donger deck discussion that I genuinely am very proud of. For about the last 4 weeks, I've been trying to make the best Shadow Wilds deck in the game. Like, make it S tier, make it completely meta, and I'm going to go through the deck with you guys now and share it, because at the Dongers of Runeterra, if we make decks, we share them. If we make really good ones, we share them a lot. So let's just see what my final thing actually is. And I have played a lot of Shadow Wilds. It's easily my favorite region. I enjoy playing it. I find it very fun. I find it very competitive. And then I was at work and I was taking a break. And, Runeterra goes through my mind a lot. And I was thinking about the decks that I've made before. So we've made, control spiders with a lease. And we've made and played the Harrowing deck, and we made a Dawn and Dust Hecarim deck, and these were all solid decks. These were all like tier 2, pretty decent, good win rate percentage, but not quite there. So I actually got a piece of paper and I wrote down the best cards I think in the game from Shadow Wilds, and a couple of decent other cards that I really enjoy playing in other regions. And this is the piece of paper. And just in there you can see all these little names and things. So I built the deck using a pen. Not in the game like I normally do. I actually just wrote down things and then went, well, what has worked for me in the past? What aids my win conditions? Do I need them in this deck? What can't I live without? What can I get rid of? And I ended up with this. And I genuinely believe that this deck has got everything that you ever want in a deck to climb with. You're not going to be able to play this at lower ranks because you're not going to have the cards. But if you want a solid deck, even in Masters, I'm more than confident in saying this is the best deck I've ever built by a street. It's easily my favorite deck. I would take this to a tournament in a heartbeat, and I'll be climbing with this deck when I come back from my little trip away. And in the spirit of all things Dongers, let's get into the deck. And I hope you like it as much as I do, because it's actually my little baby. So here we go. I adore Bark Beast. I have floated in and out of being utterly in love with it and hating it all at the same time. But it fits how this deck plays so well. It has to be a 3 of. It can't be anything else. We can do things in this deck that automatically make this a 3/3. And that is why it's a 3 of. In other variations of Shadow Wilds decks, it either gets targeted first or they want to kill it so it doesn't become a 3/3. And we have enough tools in this deck to be able to make Bark Beast one of the very best 1-drops in the game and become a 3/3. And that is Jagged Butcher stuff. So you're looking at an amazing drop right away, which is fantastic. The problem with most Shadow Wilds decks is actually picking the color to go with it. And I want to try and figure out how to maximize every single one of the 40 cards that keeps it flowing, that keeps the synergy going, that keeps the Shadow Wilds kill yourself to win the game, yet be a tier above what they've all been before. And this deck does it perfectly. And for that reason, I've went down the Demacia route. And that is pretty awesome. Because opening up Demacia opens up amazing things for the end game. And the end game, well, you'll see. So if we're at Demacia, I want their two best one-drops in the game. And number one is a Fleet Feather Tracker. It's a 2-1 that when you summon another ally, grants me Challenger. Now, even if I wasn't playing Bark Beast, this is the ideal card to play on turn 1, especially if you're attacking on odds, because we have 6 units on 1 mana to be able to go out and take a little bit of chip damage. That can make the difference in the game. If you drop this one down, and then either drop the next card in the deck or a Bark Beast, the bird gets Challenger, you pull a unit in and kill it, and then your Bark Beast automatically becomes a 3/3, killing the other unit if they have another unit out there. And that is what makes this deck tick. It's death synergy, death triggers, death buffs. So it takes a while, if you don't play Shadow Wilds, to realise the power that actually comes from that region. And with that, we have also added in one of the best one-cost spells from Demacia, which is Ranger's Resolve. Now, Chain Vest for the same cost allows you to make one ally tough. That is not good enough in a deck that needs to do what it needs to do throughout the game. So I want every ally on there getting toughed. Oh, now, okay, that doesn't work against Ruination. Fine. But in general, in the main, in a normal game, for 1 mana, that is phenomenal value. To be able to make it an extra 1 to kill your units is fantastic, because most people don't have really, really big things. Yes, there's things like Brothers Bond and Fury of the North and Transfusion, but you're making them play that. You're forcing them to play that. And for 1 mana against things that cost 3 and 2 and 4, our mana cost efficiency is through the roof, and their mana efficiency has hit the basement level, because that's all they can do. And even mid-game, I'm more than happy to see them drop a 4-cost spell to kill 1 unit while the rest of mine all stay alive. Yeah, I will quite happily lose champions. I will quite happily let things die. That's all really, really good. So for the 1 mana, that's why it's a 2-of. And then we have Demacia's best 2-drop as an ally. And the Bright Steel Protector is just fantastic. He is so versatile. Absolutely versatile. Drop an ally. Put this over the top. Put it over the tracker. Put it over the Bark Beast. Put it over whatever. This is your turn 2. This is fantastic. It's overstated. It's OP. It's very, very, very good. So then why not 3? There's a very good reason why it's only a 2-of. It does its job perfectly as a 2-of in this deck. 1 wouldn't be enough. 3's too much. 2 is fine, because everything else in the deck are 3's. So we either go all 3's and a 1, or all 3's and a 2/2. So let's just see why it's just the 2. Cursed Keeper is easily just superb. And we have tools in this deck that will kill it easily to make it into this monster. It's no longer the 4/4, but the 4/3 is fantastic. It is fantastic at a 4/3. And we will happily kill this as often as possible, by any means possible, to maximize our board state. And our board state wants to be threatening the entire time. We want to be kind of wide. We want to be very sort of aggro based, yet controllable. So it's sort of twin jeweled deck thoughts. I'm only putting cards in here that I genuinely think are the best cards per region. And he is just great. Like, he is just absolutely great. The soft spot I've got for this guy, he's just fantastic. Fantastic. So he is automatically a 3 of, and Glimpse Beyond, well, card draw is a huge thing for me in decks. To have this, to kill an ally, you can kill a Fleet Feather Tracker, make your Bark Beast 3/3. You can kill a Cursed Keeper, make it a 4/3. And the bonus is you get to draw 2 cards for 2 mana, which is superb to fill your hand out, to give you better options. Especially if your hand's a little clunky. This deck I have played so much. At times it can get clunky. The Glimpse is phenomenal. It's so much better than Vile Feasting. You just kill something and get 2 cards. And the 2 cards are much more important than a 1/1 spider that doesn't do anything in this deck at all. Death triggers are phenomenal. They are such a part of your win condition. That's why we're running 3 of. And then we're going to get to our first champion. And as I said at the start of this video, I have went through Hecarim decks and Elise decks and Thresh decks and tried my very best to try and come up with a really good, solid 2-drop person in there, which is why Elise and KALISTA was such a big thing. But this isn't an Elise deck. It's not spiders. It doesn't work like that. It's completely different deck. So we went for Lucian, and here's the reasons why. If he sees 4 allies or an allied Senna die, he levels up, and when he levels up, he does double attack, and the first time an ally dies, you get to rally. Now these are all ridiculously easy to do in the normal game. We are killing enough things that Lucian normally always leveled. Unless, of course, he gets Mystic Shotted, or Thermo Beamed, or whatever. Calling Struck, get excited. He dies. He dies. Which is really damn good. Because I don't actually want him there. I want him in the last turn of the game, where he just becomes utterly ridiculous and wins you the game. Because he will automatically level up in the last turn of the game. Because we're running Harrowing. He's going to come back leveled. And even if he only comes back like this, if you throw him out 5th or 6th, he levels and does a double attack for 8. Which is just utterly crazy. And then you can rally. If you've got other units, you can then throw them out. GG, game over, thank you for playing, all done. The difference between using him and Elise is night and day. He is by far the better champion, and you want him dead anyway. If you get him to do something and take a couple of units off the board, more the better. But if not, him dying is no issue. Do not fret about it. Do not worry about it. When he comes back, he will win you the game, which Elise can't do. Elise will not do anything in a Harrowing. Lucian does so much more. And then we come into the most versatile card in the deck, which is Single Combat. My favourite spell in Demacia by miles, because it is so multifunctional. You want to level up your Bark Beast? Well, then ally another unit, make sure it dies. Bark Beast is a 3/3. That's fantastic. Cursed Keeper something and turn your 1/1 into a 3/4, which is like, hello, that's real good. Like, you know, hello you, hello you. it's only going to take out something with a unit. It may not even take out a unit, but you're getting a 4/3 just from this card. This card has got so much utility that it has to be a 3 of. I would take 6 of them if I can take 6 cards in the deck. It's that brilliant. I love it. I just absolutely love this card. And as we go down through it, the rest of the deck, I'll show you what else it's really good at doing as well. So, let's keep going. Blighted Caretaker. Ah, the boy, the tree. The tree that brings out a Challenger 2/1 that then dies. Now, can you imagine if you've got Lucian out? Hello. Imagine if you've got a Bark Beast out. Hello. You throw these 2 out first, they die. Your Bark Beast goes to 3/3. It's really damn good. And you can also use the saplings to, oh, I don't know, single combat something else. It's brilliant. It just all flows. It's like a river going down a mountain that just doesn't stop. Added to which you still get this. So, you know, kill your Cursed Keeper. That automatically levels a Bark Beast. That's really, really good. An automatic 3. So with all this death going on, KALISTA absolutely has to be played. She levels up with ease. There is no doubt about that if you drop a KALISTA and then drop a Blighted Caretaker and a single combat, bang, she's pulling units the minute you attack. Fantastic. So why aren't we running something like Death Scourge? Doesn't need it. We don't need the lifesteal. We don't need the 5/5 unit to keep her alright. Anything that has died before is now stopping her dying. And she's fantastic at just being KALISTA. So why do we need anything else? Why do we need a Thresh to bring out something? We don't. KALISTA is the perfect championess to put into this deck because she does exactly what she needs to do. She brings out units that they're then ephemeral, which are then bumping up other things. Superb. Absolutely just totally brilliant. And then we're going back into Demacia for the next 3 cards. So our version here has actually got more Demacia cards than Shadow Isles because the synergies work. The Grizzled Ranger is a scout, which means you can attack twice with it. And if it's killed, then we are leveling up KALISTA, we are leveling up the Bark Beast, we are leveling up all these other sorts of things. And then you end up, when he goes kapow, you get a 3/4, and that's solid. So he sort of dies and then regenerates into a really angry badger, which is cool. That's absolutely cool. If you can do 3 damage to something, either to the Nexus or a unit, you get an even better unit back. And it still synergizes with everything else in the deck, and that is why it is a 3 of. But this lady, we're bringing her back. Genevieve has replaced Cythria, and I totally understand why. She's a Challenger unit. She was very good with Misfortune in Scouts. It's an excellent, excellent card, but it is absolutely atrocious in this deck. While Cythria the Bold, when you attack, you give every other battling ally 1/1, which is what you get with Genevieve, but you don't get Fearsome. And when we run this out, if your units are all 2s or the odd 3, the only thing that's getting blocked is Cythria, and everything else is going straight to face. And here's a hot take. Try and get her killed. Actually, actively try and get her killed. But only actively try and get her killed if you've got the rest of the combo. And the combo is the 9-cost Harrowing. But we still have other things. And the reason we want her dead is we want to bring out multiple Cythrias when we Harrowing. So if we get 2 of these, everybody gets +2/2. Everybody gets Fearsome. You get 3, then it's +1/+1 3 times. That's only because she's died twice. Fire her into things like Nautilus, fire her into things like Endure, fire her into big sea monsters. Let her die, but do that when you have the Harrowing for the next attack turn. And keep an eye on your Nexus health to make sure that you're not all going to die. And keep some blockers. That's a key thing to do. Because the whole thing we're doing at the start is killing things up to level things up to then smash back into face. And to be honest, with the amount of deaths in this game per turn, this card's bonkers. Like, the value you get out of this is fantastic. I normally play Remembrance for 2 or 3 mana a turn. So it never costs you 6. And if it's costing you 6, you're not playing this deck right. You need to be able to go, right, 1 less for every ally that's died this round. Summon a random 5-cost follower from Demacia. So you can get the Moose, you can get the Cavalry, you can get a Radiant Guardian. If you get a Radiant Guardian, bang, you know, you're going to get a Radiant Guardian with Lifesteal and Tough. Or a 5/5 Moose with Tough. Or the Cavalry with Tough. These are solid units that you normally pay 5 mana for, but you're probably paying 2 or 3. Even at 4, that's a discount. That's mana efficiency. Get things for cheaper, and it works out well. So if you have Remembrance in hand when you use this card, that's a kill and 2 more. It costs 3. If a unit dies, on top of that, it costs 2, and you get an amazing unit to block things up with, which will come back with our Dream card. And this is my favourite card in the whole of Shadow Isles. Every deck that I've done very well with in Ladder has had this card in it. Every single card in the deck, whether I'm using Demacia or Shadow Isles, is in this deck with the best win rates on Mobalytics for me. And the Harrowing is just... it's just soul destroying. It's an auto concede. I can't believe that's just happened to me. And the fact that you could actually play this on round 6 if you have 3 spell mana is ridiculous. But you want things to actually go a little further than round 6. By round 6, you're getting Cithria the Bold out. So to be honest, this is probably a round 8 turn. So save 1 mana. So it goes to spell mana. And drop this on your next attack. And that is pretty much Goodnight Irene. And you have won the game. I have a 73% win rate on Mobalytics with this deck. It is easily my favourite deck in the game. I think it's the strongest deck, personally speaking, for how I play the game. And that's it. That's my deck. This is my Harrowing deck. I'm saving this to clip it to the pinned comments along with a free invite to join our Discord at the Dongers of Runeterra. It's just over 20 minutes, but it needs 20 minutes to decide what's the best thing to get. And if you're mulliganing, my suggestion is you want a Fleet Feather Tracker, a Bark Beast, a Bright Steel, and probably KALISTA. Or Lucian. But a champion would be good. Our champions only cost 2 to 3. Get them out there. Guys, if you like the video, thumb it up. If you like the deck, double thumb it. But we can't do that. But you know what I mean. This is a source of real pride for me. I genuinely think it's the best deck I have ever made ever. Please like and subscribe. And until our next one, this is Sith signing out. Dongers out.